It always comes to this. More nice. Hello there guys, back again to do another tattoo progress update today. Obviously where I last left off, I had showed off the spider eyes on my chest, which are holding up great. And as I previously mentioned, I plan on doing a lot more of the red shading like we did in between them, more or less all throughout the white and black on black shading that we've done on my torso. So look forward to seeing that discussed fairly soon on the channel here. Obviously I had a very large session just recently. I posted about this on my YouTube probably a month ago. By the time this video goes up, it will be probably a month. Usually my YouTube is a little behind. With that said, I sat down with Terry for 4.5 hours to tackle the Colossal Back Blackout project. We didn't have a mind towards doing the entire thing in one session. It wasn't like we needed to do it that way, or we even expected to get it done. I told him from the start, I have no give. We'll go as long as makes sense. And if my skin starts tapping out, then we'll give it up for the day. It seemed like my skin was getting a little tough at points, but then it kind of came back, had like a second wind. So somewhere around the middle of my back, Terry didn't think he'd need to do any more paper towel. He had I think I'll see if I can get a video clip of it, but he had made up about a bag of paper towel, Bounty. We use Bounty here at the shop. He had pre-soaked about a bag worth of Bounty in preparation for my back project, and he ended up going through more of it than he even had, which was pretty hilarious. But I digress. About halfway through, one of the other artists said, "Do you want me to prep some more paper towel for you, Terry?" And he said to her, "No, I think we're going to be wrapping up soon. Skin's starting to fight with me." So yeah, it looked like we weren't going to make it. But then when he got closer to the lower back, that skin was pretty chill still. So it was almost like my back was welcoming it. I will also mention that when we got to the middle of the back, the lower back started kind of, the upper back started chilling out. Like it wasn't really painful anymore. I don't really know what to make of that. It was almost as if my upper back was already in some form of healing, or not really that sore anyway by the time we got around to the lower back. So as we were moving down, my skin was relaxing, as crazy as this sounds. It was getting really almost like it had been a day since I'd had the tattoo as we moved down. Now, I've covered this kind of ground before, but I want to mention, this is not my first extreme session. It's the biggest session I've had in a while, but Lee and I were pushing it quite often. There was a session I did one time with Lee where we did my entire left arm and my entire left side and some of my left side of my stomach, and we blacked out my belly button all in one setting. So it's not like I've never done anything like this before, but there were parts of this that were pushing me into territory I haven't been in a while, and I found that quite interesting. I found that almost, it was almost cathartic and nostalgic for me to do a session like this. We didn't know if we could cover it. Like, Terry and I, the week before we did this, we actually measured my back and we measured my arm, and we were trying to figure out whether my arm or my back had more surface space, because I do have a fairly large arm, right? So just in terms of pure saturation, we were trying to figure out whether this was possible or not. And we figured out that one of my arms is about 70% of my back, 75% surface space of my back. And so then we figured in, you know, with an arm, or this arm in particular, we've got so much needle grouping we have to change, and so much shit that we have to skirt around, that you're probably losing time there. And while there's more pure damage done to the skin when you just saturate everything, you surely can do it faster if you're not having to mess around with different needle groupings and dodging certain things, and, you know, obviously not covering certain things. So I think for both Terry and myself, it was less like, let's do a cool tattoo today, let's have fun. More like, can we do this today? If it's like as efficient as possible, can we do this? Like, it wasn't like, can it be done by anyone? I know it can be done by someone. I know multiple artists can do a back piece in a sitting, and I know that if I was numbed or if I was under anesthesia, maybe it would be doable. But as I don't use any numbing cream, and I have no interest in ever trying it, really, and I'm definitely not being put under for it, it was like, can one guy, one average Joe tattooer, and one dude that likes getting tattooed, can we do an entire back blackout in a session? And the answer is yes, we did it. And I feel like I had something on the line to some degree as well, because we have several artists at the shop here that are getting into blackout now themselves, and it's been inspired by me to a large degree. I mean, there's no denying that I have had an impact here on these guys. Just this week, Terry started blacking out his ankle after blacking out one of the apprentices here at the shop, Ashland's outer bicep. So I'm coming into this thing with a pedigree of black work, a foundation of black work inspiration on other people, and I haven't done any blackout in a while. I mean, we blacked out my chest last year, but I don't know if that counts, because we blacked out I guess I've done a little bit, but I haven't done what I used to do in quite some time. So for me, it's like not necessarily just to keep face with these guys, but also whenever I do something extreme like this now, I feel like I'm in competition with my old self. And, you know, there's always that sort of curiosity if you're as good as you once were, kind of thing. And so many people seem to believe that, like, you only get weaker or worse with time or with age. You feel more pain, and it's not going to be as easy as it once was, and all of these kinds of things. And I should say that I sat as well or better than I ever have. And when we got about halfway down the upper back, there was a part of me that knew I could do it. Like, it was like a light switch was going off in my head in the moment. Like, this is beneath me, not just I'm here for this or I can do this. It was like, oh, I'm better than this. Like, I can do this very easily. Like, it didn't even become a maybe, or like it was a maybe at first, but there was a sudden realization that, like, oh, there's no amount of this at any severity level that I couldn't sit for this. It was a weird thing. It was like, there are those days you feel invincible. And so I think that I came in a good headspace, and I could have come in a bad headspace and it would have made the world a difference. So, for example, if I had been having a shitty day or I really didn't want to get tattooed, I don't think that I would have done it all. I think I would have, I don't know whether it would have been a tap out. I probably would have just said to Terry, hey, let's do half my back. Let's do 3/4 of my back or a third of my back, you know. But, you know, I came in prepared. I had a big breakfast like I always do. I stopped off and I got some local sugar. My wife and I got Tim Hortons on the way in for work, and I got myself an M&M cookie. And then when I got to the shop, one of the other artists, Alicia, had bought me a vanilla dip donut, which is a running joke here at the shop, and an M&M cookie as well. So I had 2 protein shakes, 2 cookies, a donut, a couple bottles of water, and I had my usual lunch around 11 a.m. in between all of this. And whenever there was a break in motion, I went and I got something to eat. I got something to drink. I had a bottle next to me that I was drinking casually kind of throughout the session too, whenever I could get a sip. So big thing for when you're doing these heavy saturation sessions is you can lose a lot of blood sugar, and it's good to stay hydrated and keep your blood sugar levels up and keep yourself hydrated, and so that as you're losing lots of blood, you're kind of replenishing your strength. There's no way you're not going to lose a ton of blood. Like, I had some people make some comments on a clip that I posted, like, wow, you bled a lot. It's like, yeah, try not fucking bleeding a lot with a 49 mag blacking out your entire back in a session, you fucking moron. Of course I bled a lot. There's no way you wouldn't bleed a lot. I don't normally bleed that bad, but there comes a point when your body's going into shock. You're you know, I was pushing way past the point that I would ever recommend anyone to. And I've done this a variety of times throughout my tattoo journey, where I've done things that I wouldn't necessarily recommend. I've gone to places that I wouldn't necessarily tell other people to go to, and so there was a huge caveat at the shop when I said that I would do this, was like, and again, I'm not superhuman, so I felt this the same as anyone else would. I say, you know, do as I say, not as I do sometimes, because even though I would never recommend to sit for that, I know I can, and not only that, I know I can heal it too, which is a whole other topic. There was part of me that was wondering how I would be able to live with this, how I was gonna walk out of this session, you know. And I had the shakes when it was done. Now, I didn't have the shakes during. During, I was fine. It was like, you know, you're sitting like a rock. You can all be putting the video clips in here, and you can judge for yourself whether I sat well or not. You can make up your own mind about that. I don't think I could have sat any better, but the minute I got finished, I had the shakes. You know, my body was likely going into some kind of shock. With that said, the lower back was everything I remembered it to be, and longtime viewers of this channel will know that I've had my lower back tattooed 3 times. This has been the 4th time, so it's one of my fewest, but I've hated getting my lower back tattooed every time, and this was no exception. It was very bad. It sucked. The love handle area was terrible, but you didn't get a peep out of me. I didn't make a sound. You never will. I feel like with these sorts of things, you're asking for it, you know? If you're gonna be getting your full back blacked out, you're a willing participant for that, and no one can ever make you do that against your will. And it wasn't so that I could get the cool video or I could have the bragging rights to say that I had done it either. It was the matter of fact of like, I wanted to find out whether we could do it. Now, I know that there have been one-shot back pieces done in the past. It's not like I don't know that, but I'd never done it. And that's all that's ever really important for me. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna show this off. So, I'm not gonna get to show the whole thing off, but as you can see, it's about to start peeling, / has started in some places. It's very typical for a fresh blackout to be able to see the mag strips and the work lines. So it's a bit liney right now, but I do expect the second pass you can't do this kind of a thing without expecting a second pass, and I'm a big fan of them anyway. I'm actually gonna live with my back blacked out for a little while. So I want it to be a nice enough looking back blackout. Now the long-term plan is not to have it black forever, but I'm gonna get into that in my next video. So I'll talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day.